So it was during a meeting with one of you, and I always love meeting my students in person. It's really kind of cool. In an online environment, I really don't get to see too many of you, and it was really cool getting to meet a few of you who were having difficulties with your Kompozer connections. And it wasn't until the third student came in to visit me that I started to make a connection between what was really at the root of the problem. The root of the problem is I told you all to go to Kompozer.net and to hit the download and hit the download Kompozer button. What I didn't realize is that although this says to go to the 0.7 version, it wasn't giving you that version. It was giving you a unstable trial edition called 08B3. Okay, so a great number of you have downloaded the 0.8B3 version, and this is the latest development version. Okay, this version is not stable, and it also does not work. A lot of you who are using Macintoshes, for example, are you're having issues with the connections with Macintosh, and well, this is a development version, so it just plain flat out doesn't work. The one that you need to get is the latest stable version, 0.710. So when you come to Kompozer.net, you need to click on the downloads link that's at the top of the screen. This will direct you to a new page, and at the top you download the latest stable version, which is the 0.710. Okay, so you'll download this version, all right? But prior to doing this, you need to do a search and destroy. You need to go around your computer and you need to search and destroy for all instances of Kompozer 0.8B3. So what you're going to look for is basically is just search. I'm just in a Windows Explorer and I'm searching for the Kompozer. What I'm actually searching on my flash drive, I want to just search on the entirety of my computer. And so it should find a bunch. I'm going to let it run here in the background to find whatever it finds. Okay, and then when that's complete, we're gonna delete anything that we see on this side that has the 0.8. So how can you tell if you are running the 0.8 unstable version or if you're running the 0.7? Well, if you open Kompozer and you go to Help About Kompozer, it will tell you right here version 0.710. If that doesn't say 0.710, then you could have problems because you're running the unstable trial version. Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to minimize this and go back to check how my search is coming. So, it's turning up some documents and some PDFs that have the word Kompozer in them. And what I'm looking for is that it should also search my little flash drive and find the editions of, or the instance of Kompozer in there as well. So, what is your method for eradicating this problem? Okay, so your method is to search and destroy all references to Kompozer 0.8B3. This could include uninstalling it from your machine and literally deleting everything. Delete folders, delete zip files, delete every instance of Kompozer. Continue that process until when you search for Kompozer on your computer, it literally returns nothing. Okay, and then you know that you have gotten it off. We did find that if you run, if you're on a Windows machine, if you go to Control Panel and you go to uninstall a program, and once the list builds, you will very often find Kompozer in this list, and you can go ahead and run your uninstall, which, let's see, I don't know if I have Kompozer actually physically installed on this machine or not. And it looks like I don't, but that's beside the point. It doesn't really need to be installed. If it is installed on here, you can click you click the icon and hit uninstall change. However, just be aware that clicking that icon is really just we never really figured out what it actually did. It did something, but it left an awful lot of crap on the computer that was still the Kompozer edition of the unstable trial edition. So we had to follow that up by doing a search on the computer for the word Kompozer, and we look for all the instances. So here is, a Kompozer exe, and I'm looking for, these folders all say 0.710, 0.710, 0.710, 0.710. These are all looking pretty good. So when I don't have any of the instances of the 08 trial edition except for right here, which is where I expected to find it. I have downloaded the Kompozer, and it is, the 0.83. So I would basically select these two and go ahead and just delete them and permanently delete these items. Yes. And you will continue that process. On your computer, you won't see all these 0.710s. You're going to see the 0.8 numbers coming up, and literally just, you would delete everything that has the word Kompozer in it. I'm not going to do that because I have a lot of legitimate stuff named Kompozer, such as like how to set up your website and so on and so forth. So I'm going to leave things on my computer named Kompozer, but I want you guys to delete everything off of your computers that have the word Kompozer. If your search turns up 0.8, if it does, then you're going to assume that the rest of those files are all associated with the 0.8, and you have to just completely search and destroy. Get rid of everything, continue to search Kompozer, Kompozer, Kompozer until it comes back and says you have nothing that matches this search. And then you're finished, at which point you can close this window. You go to kompozer.net, you hit the downloads link, and you get download Kompozer 0.710. Okay, that one is the one that you download. You download that one, you unzip it, you can run it, install it, what have you, from this particular download file. Okay, then when you reopen your Kompozer, you'll notice that it looks a little bit different. And that should have been my first key, because I had a lot of you contacting me saying, my Kompozer looks different. It has 2 tabs on the site connection dialog box, right? Mine doesn't have 2 tabs, it just has 1 tab, but you all were having that edition that had 2 tabs. So that's what that's all about. You'll get the 0.7 version. You will have your screen looking just like mine. And when you type everything in, amazingly enough, it's going to connect. So then you'll get your connections all set up, and you'll be able to edit your web pages. And I think everything is going to be good from that point out. And it should be compatible on the Macintoshes if you all are using them as well. So now I want to talk about how does this affect Checkpoint 1. So a lot of you were affected by this, and it took me a little while to figure out exactly what was going on here. So what I'm going to do is this. If you get Checkpoint 1 completed by October 10th, I will give you full credit for it. Okay, so it's a little bit of a reprieve. For those of you who just legitimately didn't do Checkpoint 1, you get a second chance to get out there and do it. For those of you who did try but couldn't do it because your Kompozer was just absolutely not connecting, you get to have a second chance to get your stuff completed by October 10th. And it's October 1st right now, so I'm actually giving you 2 additional weekends to get that completed, which I think is pretty generous. So I'm giving you 2 extra weekends to work on that without any additional grade penalty, but this does not change any other due dates or excuse you from any of the other work of the units or exam. So we are going to have an exam going on that second week, so the week of October 4th to the 10th. And what I'm saying is that this doesn't excuse you from turning in your exam on time. but you get the duration of this coming weekend. So you get the second and third to work on this web project, or the third, I should say the third and fourth to work on this web project, and you also get the 10th. So you got a couple of extra days and a whole week, and what amounts to be 2 pieces of a weekend to work on your web projects and get them to checkpoint 1. I think that once you get rid of all your references to that 0.83b experimental version, 0.8b3 experimental version, once you get rid of that, I think that you all will just connect with no issues. For those of you who are out there who, maybe you did complete your checkpoint 1, and if you open your Kompozer, you see that you might have edition 0.8b3. You all, it's optional, as to whether or not you want to search and destroy and get rid of your Kompozer. This does not affect your web pages. So if your web page is already put and it's already out there and it's on the internet, by you, search and destroying your Kompozer and deleting everything that's associated with your Kompozer, your web project remains on the internet. So it does not, delete your web project. Your web project will stay out there. And so you really don't have to worry about that. You can go ahead and just completely get rid of your Kompozer version and hook up with Kompozer version 0.7. Because those of you who didn't have problems, it's not to say that in the future, as we start to do different checkpoints, it's not to say that you won't experience problems. So you might want to just take this opportunity to just everybody go back and get a Kompozer 0.7 and go from there.